What's up guys, thanks for clicking on the video. My name is Luke and in today's video we're checking out Understanding European Football in 4 Simple Steps, a guide for Americans. I desperately need it. I've checked out Lionel Messi, I've checked out Ronaldo and Ronaldinho, and in today's video I'm going to be checking this out. I'm going to start to understand the sport a little bit more. I'm gearing up to watch World Cup this year, and so I need a crash course on understanding football. Understanding the sport. So here we go. I'm gonna check it out. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Understanding Soccer in Europe in 4 Simple Steps.
Y'all don't like it to be called soccer. I found that out.
From the outside it may seem complex and confusing. To understand how soccer works in Europe, you really only need to know 4 things.
Football.
Number 1, each country has its own soccer league. Seasons run
Right.
from August to May, in which each team plays every other team twice, once at home and once on the road. Games are divided into 2 45-minute halves, and when the game is over, the winner is awarded 3 points, the loser 0, and in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point.
Wait. Back that up. What the heck? It's confusing. Back this up again.
Games are divided into 2 45-minute halves, and when the game is over, the winner is awarded 3 points, the loser 0, and in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point.
So when the game is over, no matter what the score is, the winner gets 3 points and the loser gets 0 points. And this is, I'm guessing, goes into standings in the league. Okay.
And in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point. After each team has played all the other
if they tie at the end of the game, each team gets 1 point. Okay.
Teams twice, the team with the most points is crowned champion of the league. They get a big trophy,
that's
a
always
parade,
the
and
table.
The season is
Okay.
over. There are no playoffs. Sort of. But more on that in a minute. Before the books are closed on the season, there is still one small bit of housekeeping to be done. Number 2, relegation. We'll use the German league as an example. Every year, when the German league has concluded and the champion has been crowned, the 3 teams with the least amount of points are kicked out of the league. This process is known as relegation. The 3 vacant spots are subsequently filled by the top 3 teams from Germany's 2nd division. And unlike, say, baseball in the US, teams in the 2nd and subsequent divisions are not joined by teams in the top division. Imagine if the Pittsburgh Pirates...
Pause. So, it's very performance-based. If you fall into the bottom 3 on the table, you get kicked out of the league, and you get replaced by someone else. So if you want to remain, relevant, it's so much about, like, you've got to be on your game.
Oakland Raiders had to fight at the end of each season just to stay in the league. What if instead of coasting to the bottom with their draft picks, they were fighting to the bitter end?
It's so dang. So, like, I'm thinking for myself, like, what if, the Lions or the Browns or, the Jaguars every year at the end of the year had to have this battle to the death, and then at the end of battling to the death, like, they get replaced by, like, the minor league team. Like, that's wild. Okay.
Avoid the $40 million revenue loss that relegated teams suffer in the first year alone. Not to mention the fact that in England, 9 different teams have gone financially insolvent within 5 years of relegation. Okay, interesting enough, you're thinking. But what about that whole lack of playoffs part? Number 3, each country also holds an elimination-style tournament, referred to as a cup. But instead of being held after the 9-month league is over, cup games are scheduled in between league games, normally in the middle of the week. One additional perk about the cup system is that teams from all levels, down to semi-professional and even some amateur teams, are invited to play, and if they do well, can progress, and occasionally even knock off a top team. So every year, these midweek elimination games continue until there are only 2 teams left who play each other in the cup final. After 90 minutes, a cup champion is crowned, they get a trophy, and a parade. So, between the league and cup games, we get a great picture of who the best and worst teams in each country are. But wait a second, you ask. What would happen if the best teams from each country in Europe all got together and played each other? Good idea. Right. Number 4. The resulting competition is called the UEFA Champions League, and it is without a doubt the single greatest club competition of any sport anywhere in the world, period. Think of the NCAA tournament, but with better quality of play, more than double the fan base, and quadruple the enthusiasm. And yes, Europe even has their own version of the NIT as well. So, through a complex and drawn-out process, teams from all over Europe compete just to qualify for this tournament. And starting each September, the top 32 teams are put into 8 groups of 4. Each team plays the other members of its group 2 times, once at home and once on the road. Come December, the winner and runner-up from each group move on to the knockout round. And this is where club soccer is at its finest. Teams are paired up individually and again play 1 home and 1 away game, with the winner from each pair moving on to the next round until only 2 teams remain. The Champions League final is then held as a single game each year in May. And unless it's the World Cup year, this is the most important soccer game of the year. After 90 minutes, a champion is crowned, the trophy is awarded, parades commence, and all clubs go on break until the madness fires back up again in August. So, to review, number 1, each country has its own league. Number 2, the worst teams are kicked out of the league and replaced by the best teams from the next division.
So we're in the middle of this right now.
Each country also holds a playoff-type tournament called a cup. And number 4, the UEFA Champions League is a tournament involving all of Europe and is the most important competition in all of club soccer.
Champions League. All right. So, if I remember right from one of my comments, they take a break from the normal leagues in order to play in the FIFA World Cup every 4 years. So the World Cup is coming up this month, like it's starting, and I'm going to be checking that out for the first time. But this is basically, they're putting their seasons on pause, right? So like if it starts in August, we're in the middle of every football being played in every country, and seeing their league. So that's really wild to me that a team could be booted out of the league because of relegation. That is insane to me. And so that's crazy. So I'm going to be, I guess, trying to keep up with which clubs and which leagues are doing well so that I can be paying attention to the Champions League and paying attention to the cup finals and all of these countries. So I'm going to try my best to keep up with football this year and kind of see what's going on, what the landscape looks like internationally, where all the best clubs are. I did a reaction to Manchester United versus Manchester City that got blocked, and it's still not available on the channel. But I thought that Manchester United would be the team that I root for just because it's the only team that I had heard of. But Man City really just wiped the floor with them in that match. But anyway, I guess we will. If you like what you see on this channel, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. I've got plenty of reactions on this channel. I've reacted to rugby, and I've reacted to Messi, Ronaldo. I've got a video coming out with Ronaldinho in it. So if you like what you see here and you want to help me understand a sport, I'm really actually enjoying it. And so, yeah, come check it out. We'll continue to follow my journey into the greatest sport in the world, and I have no problem saying that. I'm an avid NFL fan, still will be, always will be. I love my sport, but there is room in my heart for a new sport, and I'm excited to see. Next up, I need to learn the rules. Y'all let me know how I need to do that. See you guys in the next video.